Alrighty. Oh my god. Alright, let's see here. We got that. We got this. We got stuffs. I'll head in a second. What do we got here? Turn on that. Wrong one, sorry. It's that one. Where's Bilbetto? Bilbetto! Oh, hold on. I have to... Crap. I have to... Hello. Channel. Stop. Oh, wrong one. It's not Among Us. Sorry. I have to change the Twitch info. I forgot. Sorry about that, guys. Dang it. It is not Among Us. It is... Sorry. There you go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Alright, Deathtrap Dungeon, doing that. I got this. I'm just sending out some manual notifications. That's that. How's everybody doing? What's going on? How is everybody else doing? Are you doing? I'm doing I'm doing a lot. There we go. So, 2020 sucks. Alex Trebek is dead. There goes Jeopardy. I wonder what they're gonna do. They're supposed to do. Is someone supposed to take him over? I heard something that, he didn't want anyone to take his place. So I wonder how that's gonna go. All right, sorry about the delay. So okay, everything in. Okay, so we're gonna start over. Not over, but we're gonna start from.
The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trap door. You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trap door is not locked.
Yeah, this is where we were. We burst through, and we did well when we burst through. So we're gonna do that again.
You throw the trap door open and run up the steps into a bright, lantern-lit room. Two goblins are sharpening their short swords on a stone set in the middle of the floor. You catch them momentarily off guard, but they quickly recover and both rush forward to attack you. A point of note here, adventurer. Because of the shape of the room, both goblins will have a separate attack on you each attack round. However, here your attack will only be effective on one of the goblins. Against the other, you must still use your attack strength in a normal way. But even if your attack would have been effective, you will not wound it. It will just count this as though you have defended yourself. However, if its attack strength is greater, it will have wounded you in the normal way. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You both swing for each other, and in the confusion, both miss. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn, but the creature whips around, parrying your blow. Neither of you are harmed. Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall. There are 2 closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall. The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
Okay, so I did play through this. We're going to go through this here, come out and over. That's what I want to do, but if I die this time, there's a lot of places here. I want to go around. See, this is where the book maps out so much stuff. I like this. I mean, the real book. So the thing is, I forgot if it was here or if it was here. I forgot where I found gems. Just find so many gems. So we're gonna go. Sorry, we're gonna go west.
The door opens into another tunnel. Walking west, you soon arrive at another door in the north wall.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Open the door.
The door opens into a small room in which there is a human skull with jeweled eyes resting on the top of a marble plinth. A row of loaded crossbows is fixed to the left-hand wall, and two small wooden balls lie on the floor just inside the door.
So throw a wooden ball at the skull from the doorway is what we're going to do.
You take aim and hurl the wooden ball at the skull. A test of skill.
A test of skill.
The wooden ball smashes into the skull, knocking it off the plinth and onto the floor. Much to your surprise, the crossbows do not release their deadly bolts. You step into the room cautiously and pick the skull up off the floor. You recognize the yellow jeweled eyes as topaz and eagerly pluck them from their sockets. You put them in your backpack, wondering whether or not a trap still awaits you in the room.
Does it? Does it now? So we're going to get down on all fours and crawl out of the room holding the skull.
A tickling sensation runs down your spine as you crawl carefully out of the room. Back in the tunnel, you heave a sigh of relief. Throw the skull back into the room and slam the door shut. Pleased with your good fortune, you set off west once again. The tunnel takes a sharp turn and you find yourself in a sort of gallery lined with mirrors for some 20 meters. A human skeleton appears to be pulled halfway through the mirror along the right-hand wall. Suddenly, a grotesque being with 4 arms and 4 screaming faces emerges from the mirror, barring your way ahead. It walks slowly towards you, each arm outstretched to grab you. It is a mirror demon from another dimensional plane, come to take your spirit.
Okay, so we're going to smash the mirrors.
You swing your sword against the mirror with all your might, but to no effect. The mirror does not break, and the mirror demon keeps advancing.
Okay, so we're going to keep doing that. Try to smash the mirrors.
The mirror demon is almost on top of you when, summoning all your strength, you strike one final blow against the mirror with your sword. A clear test of your skill.
A clear test of your skill.
The mirror shatters, sending fragments of glass flying everywhere. The mirror demon's 4 faces cry out in agony, and cracks appear all over them. They too shatter and fall to the floor in shards of broken glass. I'm sorry to say you cut your sword arm badly while smashing the mirror. Although your strength is unaffected, your weapon skill is diminished, losing you 2 skill points. However, undeterred by your experience, you continue your journey.
That's okay. That's okay.
In front of you are 2 flights of stone steps separated by a banister of rat skulls.
We want to go left. We'll go left.
Treading carefully, you slowly make your way up the steps. You soon reach the top without mishap and continue along the new tunnel, which takes the sharp turn right. After 100 meters in the tunnel, you come to a junction. Looking left, you see the dead bodies of 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing apart from a necklace of teeth hanging around the neck of one of the orcs.
Ooh, okay, so we're gonna wear the necklace. I remember that.
The necklace is an amulet of strength which adds 1 skill point and 1 stamina point. Pleased with your find, you continue your quest north. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish.
Okay, so we can't. Okay, so this is the staircase. We came here. We went over here. Oh, that's right, Throm. This is where we're gonna do Throm again. So we're gonna see if we can do all of this over again a little bit differently. So you head west with the barbarian, Throm.
Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use.
Okay, Bill Beto, you're back. So, yeah, what I did here is I went back to over here, went into this room, got the skull that had the topaz, avoided the crossbolt arrows, and then here we had the mirror monster, went into the staircases, up over, and then we're back to meeting Throm again. So, what I'm going to do here is on this run, we've already been through this run. I'll try a couple things differently, but we'll try to get through this. If I die again, I'm actually probably going to start all over from the beginning, all the way down here where we started, and go to the right and see what happens. Now, the only thing is that I want you guys to let me know while I'm continuing this, is that if I die again and I decide to go back here, well, not really back here, but do you want me to see, we can continue wherever we want. These are all the bookmarks. Do you want me to continue with the bookmarks here, or do you want me to, do you think I should go back and say I died and reset everything? This clears all of the saves and the bookmarks. So as I'm continuing here, you guys let me know that if I die again, do you want me to continue here with the bookmarks or without the bookmarks? Because I mean, I think it's fun either way. Okay, so we're gonna offer to lower him down. Okay, so I accept the barbarian's offer to be lowered down.
You tie the rope around your waist and take hold of the lighted torch given to you by Throm, as your barbarian ally calls himself. Taking hold of the slack rope, Throm lowers you slowly over the edge of the pit and down into the dark depths below. You can see by the light of the torch that the sides of the pit are extremely smooth. You drop about 20 meters before hitting the bottom of the pit. There, you see another tunnel heading north, and you call up to Throm and tell him of your discovery. He calls back, saying that he is going to tie the rope around a protruding rock on the edge of the pit and will come down and join you. You hear him climbing down, and soon you are together again. Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off north along the new tunnel. On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see 2 dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry on.
That's right. We did the books and we... Yeah, I know. That's why I asked you guys on what your opinion is, because yeah, I'm half and half too. All right. I remember this. We opened up both books, but then we didn't do anything with any potions.
As you open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate, the pages turning to dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the Blood Beast's only weak spot, the real eyes.
The Blood Beast.
Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going. The book pages are sealed together, but a small hole has been cut out in the middle of them, just large enough to hold a small corked bottle containing a clear liquid.
Oh, this thing, that's right.
You show it to Throm, who holds up his hand, indicating that he does not want you to come anywhere near him with it. His distrust of things unknown is strongly evident.
See, that's the thing again. Strange liquid, I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. Drink, rub, leave the bottle and the book to continue. Okay. Not going to risk it.
The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon. For a moment later, you see the silhouette of 2 armed guards. Throm jumps up and dashes forward, screaming a loud battle cry. They are 2 cave trolls. Throm attacks the first one with his battle axe, and you run to his aid to attack the second.
Okay, attack the cave troll. Oh, jeez. My skill is down. Ew, don't.
You parry the attack, but your enemy is too strong, and you crack your head on the floor as you hit the ground. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You drop to the ground, sweeping away the troll's legs. It howls as its head hits the hard ground. You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing apart from a bone ring on a leather cord hanging round the neck of one of them. The ring is engraved with a symbol which Throm recognizes. He explains that it must have belonged to druids of the north, and that an ancient talisman such as this will increase your powers if your body is able to accept it.
Yep, we're going to do that. Put the ring on. I remember it gives us
As soon as you put the ring on your finger, your whole body starts to shake. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you've been skillful, but a roll higher than your skill could end badly.
Watch, I get a 12. Watch. Ooh, 10.
Your body continues to vibrate intensely, and you feel as if you're about to pass out. But your strength is great, and you manage to withstand the tremendous shock to your system. Finally, you calm down and begin to feel the ring's beneficial powers working on you and adding 3 stamina points. You see Throm looking at you anxiously, so you reassure him that you are fully recovered. He strides off east, and you follow him, eager. The tunnel leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang down threateningly. Their constant dripping creates milky pools on the floor. The tunnel carries on through an archway carved in the shape of a demonic mouse.
That's right. I think if I searched, it did something. I'm just going to go straight this time.
The tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you enter. As you do so, the oak door swings shut behind you. Adventurers, you have done well to get this far, says the dwarf in a deep voice. However, as you both know, there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions. As Trial Master, it is my duty to Baron Circumvit, to let only the most able continue. Therefore, I must devise a test of wits and strength to eliminate one of you. Please do not attempt to dispose of me. It will be utterly pointless, for, as you can see, there is no obvious way out of this chamber, and only I know where the hidden exit lies. Know if you would care to decide between you who will go first. I shall make the necessary preparations. You look at Throm, suddenly angry that your effective partnership might come to an end. He leans over and whispers in your ear that you should try to kill the dwarf and worry about the exit later.
See, this is where I think we should try to kill the dwarf because in our last playthrough we were able to kill the dwarf. What do you think? Go for it. Of course Bill Better says go for it. He was there last time. Anybody else care to fill his shoes? Yeah, I want to do that. We'll do it.
As you rush towards the dwarf, he pulls 2 hand darts from his belt and throws them at you and Throm, hitting both of you in the leg. You are both instantly paralyzed by the poison on the tip of the dart, losing you 2 stamina points.
Okay, it's not bad.
As though glued to the floor, you can only watch as the dwarf retrieves his dart from your thigh. He asks you whether you are willing to enter his contest now. You strain to nod your head. Slowly, the effects of the poison wear off and mobility returns.
That sucks.
The dwarf beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to await his return. He opens a secret door in the chamber wall, and you follow him into a small circular room. He closes the door behind you and hands you 2 bone dice telling you to throw them on the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll again, but this time you must predict the total. Will it be the same, higher, or lower than the 8?
Okay, so last time we went with less, and this actually does roll. So it's actually a chance, so we're going to do it again. I guess. Right? It's a greater chance. Gambling man. Oh, there we go.
The dwarf congratulates you for guessing correctly. He tells you that you must now progress to the second stage of the test.
Progress.
He reaches for a wicker basket and tells you that a snake is held within it. He tips the basket over, and the snake drops onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air, ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. Barehanded, you must grasp the cobra below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs. You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill.
This reminds me of the Jumanji movie. Oof.
With lightning speed, you thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up, and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
"Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me."
See, notice now his voice
You
is
do what
modified.
he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin Moat." In his ever calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters?
So what do we do? Do we want to go after the Minotaur again? Or do we want to go after the Scorpion this time? Just to mix things up a little bit. What say you, audience members? Or say I can't identify either of the creatures. Actually, let me do this. Try the Scorpion. I was thinking of trying the Scorpion. I forgot. What did he say if we can't identify the creatures? I'm sorry, I'm not paying too much attention because I'm on like no sleep. But I did want to play this through in a different way. Sorry to say, but I'm a little bit. I've gotten a little bit. Thanks to Bilbetto, I've gotten a little bit addicted to these fighting fantasy games. I played one with my stepson, and yeah, that one was funny. Alright. Alright, let's do I Can't Identify.
The dwarf shakes his head, saying,
All brawn and no brain is not enough to master the trial of champions. I regret you have failed.
Ah.
You will not be allowed to leave in case you impart its secrets to others. However, you have done well to get so far, and I will appoint you my servant for the coming years to prepare the dungeon for its new contestants.
Your adventure ends here.
Your adventure ends here. All right. We're going to go... Yeah, I didn't want to go and kill Throm again anyway. I liked Throm. So... It looks like if I go right here... I'm going to start over again. Yeah, so you have to... Okay. I'm going to start over here from the beginning, and we'll go to the right. So we're going to technically start over again, and to be totally honest... Oh, no, wait a minute. We can... Yeah. So, I'll be honest. I forgot... Okay, so up here was where we got one stone. The second... And I thought we got a third stone somewhere else. I forgot now. But all right, we'll do it over from the beginning. But I'm not going to erase the data because I want to still have the map. I don't know if that's kind of cheaty or not.
The clamor of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-meter intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid. The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you.
Parchment.
After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap Dungeon. Signed, Succumvit." Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while one decided to go east.
Okay, so we're going to head east.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor.
Oh, good Lord.
Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction.
Yeah, why not? Keep going.
You see that the obstruction is a large brown boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
Uh-oh. All right. This is where... Okay, soft and spongy. So, do we risk climbing over it? Do we slice it open and risk, like, poison acid stuff spray all over you. Kill it. Kill him. Fine, we'll kill it.
Your sword easily pierces the thin outer casing of the giant spore ball.
Spore ball?
A thick brown cloud of spores bursts out of the ball and envelops you.
I'm dead.
Some of the spores stick to your skin and start to itch terribly.
Oh my god.
You lose 2 stamina points as great lumps come up on your face and arms, and your skin feels as if it is on fire.
Okay, that's okay.
Frantically scratching your itching lumps, you step over the now deflated spore ball. Pressing on east, you turn left, which heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. Hold on. So, okay, so we're here. Geez, we're still here? All right. Do we continue or do we drink? I mean, you know, substances that are just around is so suspicious all the time. They're so suspect. It is a tough choice. Well, dry and all this, so I might as well. I mean, it looks like I'm gonna die anyway. Oh well, we can always go back and redo it.
The water in the bamboo pipe is welcomely refreshing and adds 1 stamina point.
Okay, good.
It also contains a magical solution.
Oh, geez.
Which will enable you to be exposed to melting point temperatures without harm. Discarding the bamboo, you start off north again, in good spirits.
Aw.
You find yourself dripping with sweat as the temperature continues to rise. As you struggle on, the heat intensifies until it becomes so unbearable that you feel yourself begin to pass out.
Again?
Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you could normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive, and mercifully, after a few moments, the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
So if we didn't drink it, we would have passed out and died right there. Yep. What? Try to slide the iron plate, open the door, what? I don't understand. Alright, I guess... Slide? What's the difference between sliding and opening? Or is the iron plate that's on the door? Let's slide it open.
The small plate slides open easily.
Oh, okay.
And you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of 2 iron hooks.
What? Open the door, jump over the pit, and take the rope.
The door swings open into the room.
No.
And you step back and jump over the pit.
No venture, no gain.
You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit to leave the room.
Oh.
And head north.
Wait a minute. It did say
Ahead,
we needed...
You
need
see
rope.
that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner, and almost bumped straight into two fierce-looking orcs,
Oh, good lord.
armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor.
Morning stars.
You are totally unprepared for them.
No.
And struggle to ready your weapons. The orcs roar. And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which, thankfully, crashes into your shield, bouncing off harmlessly. The tunnel is too narrow for both of them to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
We needed the rope to climb the statue thing, to grab the eye jewels. I don't need to eat. Oh, did I?
You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach.
Yeah, I'd rather have the auto go and do that. We needed the rope to climb the Buddha statue.
But slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword.
Oh, this is easy. Yeah, they're weak. Weak sauce.
Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
To the other. Let's get this over with.
You raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach. The orc is strong, but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword. Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find one gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack and set off west. As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel's ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
Okay, so where are we? So we have this. Oh, there we go. So that's what it was. So, okay, so if we were to map this game, you have to go right, grab the rope, go through this, go up here, use the rope on the statue. Have to figure out what the wooden tube is. We don't even know what the mallet and the spikes are for either. Huh. Actually, let me see this. Okay. Open the door.
The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals who has obviously met a sudden gory death.
Ooh.
It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor.
Is it Throm?
A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
Ooh. Close the door, consider. Walk towards the alcove, walk over to search the barbarian. Ooh. See, that's the thing about this game that I don't like, is that if you decide to go to the alcove, it might skip the barbarian. If I go to the barbarian, is that another booby trap? Definitely want to go for the goblet, though. You know what? I would do that, but let's see. I'm going to try the barbarian first, actually.
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth.
Leave the chamber, head west, leave the meat, and walk over to the alcove. Eat the dried meat. I'll eat his meat.
The meat contains herbs which increase your strength.
Ooh, cool.
Adding 3 to your stamina score.
Yes. Oh, 17 was my max. Okay.
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Okay, this time I think I want to try the liquid. We've been suspect of everything else in bottles, but...
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch.
Oh, no.
And a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg.
Oh, jeez.
This will be a test of your luck.
Oh, okay, good.
We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the roll is higher than your luck score, then your luck isn't in.
Your luck isn't in?
Your reflexes are sharp, and you quickly jump aside. The dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone. At least the goblet may be of use. So you put it in your backpack, leave the chamber, and continue west.
I don't remember kind of thinking I would need
The
something like
passage
that.
soon leads to a junction where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the
Yes.
center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
The bird-like creatures. Yeah, we're probably gonna need the eyes. We're gonna go and climb.
The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb, but the rope you found earlier will help here, and you make it into a lasso. You whirl the rope above your head and throw it up at the idol, smiling happily as it lands around its neck. You then tighten the noose and start to climb, hauling yourself up the rope. You are soon at the top of the idol, sitting on the bridge of its nose and holding on to the rope. You draw your sword and wonder which jeweled eye to prize out first.
I think it was the left one. That was the good one.
As you touch the idol's emerald eye, you hear a creaking sound below you.
That's it.
Looking down, you are shocked to see the 2 stuffed birds flying off. Their wings flap in jerky movements, but they are soon above you and look set to attack. You'll fight the flying guardians one at a time, but reduce your skill by 2 during this combat because of your restricted position.
It's still pretty good with the
You're able to
skill.
grab the wing of the Guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina. The guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck. Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the guardian's toes.
The crumpled form of the first flying guardian falls crashing to the floor. So you ready yourself to take on the second.
You're able to grab the wing of the guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina. The guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck. Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the guardian's toes.
Your final swipe dispatches the second flying guardian. You look down and see the crumpled bodies of the two flying guardians lying motionless on the floor. You start to prize out the idol's emerald eye with the tip of your sword. At last it comes free, and you are surprised by its weight when it falls into your hand. Hoping it may be of use later, you put it in your backpack.
Okay, so... No, we're not going to prize out the right eye because that was poisonous.
Back on solid ground once again on the cavern floor, you try to shake the rope off the idol's neck. This will be a test of your luck. Remember, 2 dice are rolled. Equal to or less than your current luck score, you'll have been lucky. Higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky.
You have been unlucky.
Despite all your efforts, you cannot get the lasso off the idol's neck. Finally, you give up and abandon it to whoever may come after you. There is nothing else of interest in the cavern, so you walk over to the northern wall and enter the tunnel.
I don't remember us
Not
meeting the
much
rope again
farther
anyway.
down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Okay, so we're here. We did that. So we came from there. There's a couple things we could have done, but yeah, this way seems to be right so far. Open the door. Opening the door.
You enter a room which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the door slams shut behind you. Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting,
Oh, yeah.
"Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master.
I remember this.
Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name."
Yeah, I remember. We'll see what happens. This might be one of those cases where there's no way to win.
You take a deep breath and shout, "Succumvit as a worm." Once again, the mysterious voice calls out, only this time, to your great surprise, in a far less threatening tone.
Oh, really?
Good. My master likes those who show spirit. Take this gift to help you.
Ooh.
It will grant you one wish,
Ooh.
but one wish only.
Ooh.
Farewell. A gold ring magically appears out of nowhere and lands at your feet with a gentle tinkle. You pick it up and put it on one of your fingers. The door opens and you step back into the tunnel to continue north. The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, You see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
I'm like, how am I? Yes, because I'm a little round. It doesn't exactly mean that I'm Mr. Las Vegas menu here that knows where everything is for food. Which I've eaten a lot, kind of, and yes, I can tell you some good places to eat inexpensively. Okay, so this is where we went around. Did we wanna? Yes. We walked around last time, and I guess at this point we don't really... Actually, no, hold on, let me see here. Did we want to... We can always go back, right? It's kind of funny with these books, because if I had the book in front of me, I feel like I can always turn back and, go back if I chose something wrong. But at the same time, when I'm playing this game and the actor over here, I feel like I'm really in the adventure, and I don't want to. I don't feel like I want to risk so much. Yeah, so we'll try it. Let's do it just out of curiosity. Out of curiosity.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light,
Exactly.
You hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing, but have changed their expressions to one of despair and anguish.
Oh no.
A young girl's sad face hovers in front of you, and she begins to whisper a poem.
Uh-oh.
Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win."
Ooh.
Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light and quickly head on north. You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
All right, where am I? That thing. All right, hold on. I missed that completely because I was trying to do something else for my father really quick, because he wanted fish fry.
You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed.
No. Never mind.
Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cabin. The light is dim and murky, but as your eyes begin to adjust, you see that the walls are covered in green algae and running with moisture. The floor is strewn with straw. The atmosphere is warm, damp, and fetid.
Oh, I remember this.
And a soft humming sound fills the air. You step gingerly through the straw towards a corner of the cabin where there appears to be a shallow pit. Peering warily into the pit, you are disgusted to see a mass of pale, writhing worms, some as much as 1/2 meter long. Nauseated, you are about to turn away when you notice that their undulating bodies are swarming around a dagger. its point held fast in a crack in the pit floor. The hilt is cased in black leather, studded with opals, and the blade is fashioned from a strange, reddish-black burnished metal you have never seen before. You long to touch the dagger, but this would mean plunging your hand in among the writhing worm.
Yeah, I remember this. I don't understand why we would do this, or did we pick it up because of... Oh, whatever. Reach for the dagger. I remember we
Taking a
did
deep
this.
breath, you lean over the pit and plunge your forearm into the mass of wriggling worms. They are cold and clammy and feel extremely nasty, but at least they are harmless, and you are able to seize the dagger by the hilt. You give it a hard tug and it comes away from the crack in which
Oh,
the
that's
tip
right.
was embedded.
We have to fight a fly.
Admiring its beauty and wondering whether it might once have belonged to some luckless contestant, you put the opal-studded dagger firmly in your belt and leave the cabin. As you make your way back to the doorway, the buzzing sound increases in intensity, and you look around desperately to discover where it's coming from. Glancing up in the nick of time, you see a huge and grotesque black shape of a giant fly emerging from a recess high up in the cavern wall. As it gets closer, you realize that it's at least 1.5 meters long. Its opaque wings vibrate, making the sickening buzzing noise you can hear, and its 6 black, hairy legs are poised to grasp your body. Below, its multifaceted eyes is a long, shiny black proboscis, which darts in and out venomously. You have stolen the giant fly's treasure from her brood of maggots, and you must face the consequences. It's time to test your luck again. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your luck score means you've been lucky, but a roll higher than your luck could end badly. The giant fly swoops down again to try to capture you, but this time you manage to evade its outstretched legs. Stepping back, you draw your sword to prepare to fight the hideous insect as it turns to attack you again. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fist flailing, and land a stunning blow. The creature flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall. You spin your sword around your head, clipping the fly and removing part of one of its legs. Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime from the blade of your sword and walk quickly to the door, back to the tunnel, and head north. The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance.
Wait, what? Where are we? Okay, we're here. I forgot. If we go left, we hit the thing, right? We hit the grub that was there. That's right, and we don't go up the tunnel. So I'm gonna... Jeez. Let me see. If I go that way to the left, then I missed the skull over here. And Throm up here. I guess we'll just go... Let's just go exploring and opening up the map, right? Let's just go exploring. Go west. Go west, young man. Go west.
Ahead, You hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed. The noise grows louder, and suddenly you realize that the wall on your right is starting to collapse. Terrified, you watch as a large, hideous, worm-like creature with a gaping mouth and powerful mandibles slithers through a hole in the wall. Its great jaws continue to crunch the rock as it turns its head slowly from side to side, feeling the cool air in the tunnel. It appears to be totally blind, but seems to know of your presence, perhaps sensing the heat of your body. It starts to slither towards you with its mandibles wide apart to attack.
Okay, we are going to go fight it and continue east and see what happens.
You draw your sword and advance slowly towards the huge, slimy rock grub.
Picking up a rock, you manage to smash it into the head of the rock grub. It screeches in pain, withdrawing enough for you to ready for another attack. The rock grub is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its pulsating body. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature.
Pleased with your combat skills, you step round the great bulk of the dead rock grub and peer into the darkness of the borehole it left. You can only see a few meters, but are able to make out that it inclines slightly and is wet from the secreted slime of the rock grub.
No, we're going to continue going west, because that's where we died. I'm trying to remember, where were we? Was it here? No, it might have been there. Where we found something. I think it was in that hole we found something. But no, we'll continue on.
After a long walk down the tunnel, you come to a dead end. A large mirror reaching from the ceiling to the floor hangs on the end wall. And in the dim light, you can just about make out your own reflection.
Of course, we have to take a closer look.
You step up to the mirror and are amused by your distorted reflection. Your head looks as large as a pumpkin, and your face is exceedingly strange. Suddenly, without warning, a terrible pain pounds through your head, and you try to look away from the mirror, but you are unable to. Some evil force is keeping your eyes glued to your own reflection. You grip your head with your hands and realize, with horror, that it is expanding. You can withstand it no longer, and blacking out with pain, you fall unconscious to the floor, never to wake. Your adventure ends here.
Great. Wow. Okay, so this is another thing that we encountered, where that, just like in House of Hell, you start at this point and it's like dead end. We went up the hole. And we died anyway, right? There's no other way out. So if we do that, we can continue on here. We've been through all of this already. We've been through most of this already. I don't remember. Let's try it.
Ahead, You hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed.
Okay. So you fight the rock grub.
You draw your sword and advance slowly towards the huge, slimy rock grub.
Yeah, no, it was the mate. It was the rock grub mate.
Picking up a rock,
We'll see.
you manage to smash it into the head of the rock grub. It screeches in pain, withdrawing enough for you to ready for another attack.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just rush through this.
The rock grub. You thrust.
Pleased with your combat skills,
All right, so explore the borehole.
Tapping the side of the borehole with your sword, you tread your way blindly through the sticky slime. You follow its twisting and turning course for what seems an age and begin to wonder where it might lead. Suddenly, you hear a slithering sound up ahead. You freeze with fear, your eyes desperately trying to pierce the pitch-black darkness. Before you realize what is happening, you are gripped round the neck by the powerful mandibles of another rock grub. It is the mate of the rock grub you killed and has been attracted by the smell of blood on your sword. It squeezes harder until your neck snaps like a small twig. Your adventure ends here.
Your adventure ends here. Yeah. All right. So, question. See, we went through a lot of this already. How long have I been on? For an hour. I am going to... I want to go left here. See, the thing is that... Okay, so that's one dead end there. And you go right here and you find a lot of things in a lot of ways. Fine. I'm going to go back over here and see what I can do. And then, yeah, we'll explore this and see what happens, and we'll see if we'll start, in a sense, that with this, we're going to start mapping. We are actually mapping the correct way to go through the adventure. Whether all we know is that by the time we go up to here, or no, yeah, it seems like, well, by the time we get to here with the dwarf, with the dwarf trial, we need to have several gems, which I think we get one from there or here. I forget now. But yeah, I think that's what we do. Yeah. We'll do that. Let's map out the rest of this. See what happens.
Following the 3 sets of wet footprints along the west passage of the tunnel, you soon arrive at a junction.
So we'll continue west.
Walking along the tunnel, you are surprised to see a large iron bell hanging down from the ceiling.
Yay! Do we ring the bell? Let's ring the bell. We're gonna ring the
A
bell.
dull bong sounds from the bell like a death toll. Everything around you begins to vibrate. You grit your teeth as your head starts to shudder. Your whole body is trembling. You fall to the floor, losing 2 skill points and 2 stamina points. You quiver and shake, writhing convulsively on the floor as the vibrations intensify. You search desperately for a way of stopping the bell.
All right, which way? What do you think, Bilbito? I don't think a boot would do anything. boot? Let's try the boot. I don't think it'll do anything.
You pull your boot off your foot and force yourself to reach up and hold it against the bell. And slowly, the bell stops vibrating, and the pain in your body gradually eases. You manage to stand up, but you do not release your boot from the bell until it becomes completely still. You put your boot back on and continue your journey west.
I wonder what the scream would have done.
The tunnel veers sharply to the right and continues north for as far as you can see. You hear a tremendous commotion in the distance, growling and snarling and howling.
Oops.
You draw your sword and set off in the direction of the noise. Ahead, in the dim light, you see two hobgoblins fighting, punching, and kicking each other furiously.
He does a very good job.
Next to where the hobgoblins are fighting, there is a leather bag lying on the floor. And it seems to be this that they are fighting over.
Ooh. I wonder if... okay, so... Sukhumvit seems to want his champion to be a lot of things. A lot of good things, but to be a thief, probably not. So we'll probably have to talk to them first. Anyway, you already have your sword out and you're prepared in case they want to jump you and attack you. I will talk to them first.
The hobgoblins stop their fight immediately. They do not understand what you are saying and snarl at you viciously.
Well, of course.
And then they draw their short swords and run forward to attack you, one at a time.
Alright, whatever. So this is like the other one. Oh. So let me do auto attack.
You hurl a rock directly at the hobgoblin's head, but it bats it away like a bug. Pretending to be tired, you bend over to grab a handful of dirt and throw it in the hobgoblin's face, making your subsequent attack very effective. The hobgoblin runs at you, but you twist aside as your sword lands home.
The first hobgoblin couldn't keep up with your skill and falls aside, lifeless. You ready yourself to fight the other.
With one eye still on the bag, the hobgoblin doesn't see you attack and screeches as you land a blow. Pretending to be tired, you bend over to grab a handful of dirt and throw it in the hobgoblin's face, making your subsequent attack very effective. The hobgoblin runs at you, but you twist aside as your sword lands home.
Cut and bruised from your victorious battle, you see that the hobgoblins have nothing of any use to you on them. So you decide to open the bag on the floor. Inside, you find a corked earthenware jug. You uncork it and sniff the liquid inside. It smells sharp and acrid.
Well, if they fight over it, hobgoblins, I would think that they want to drink it. I guess to be safe, dip a piece of cloth in it. To be safe.
Acrid smoke rises from the jug as you lower the cloth into it. The liquid is unmistakably acid.
Ooh, good.
You recork the jug and place it in your backpack, hoping it may be of use to you later. You sheathe your sword and press on, northwards.
Northwards, okay.
The tunnel soon takes another sharp right turn. Following it east, you arrive at a strange obstruction. A row of 12 wooden poles across the tunnel. They are fixed to the walls at each end, about half a meter off the floor and spaced about a meter apart.
Let me see this. Oh, that's cool. It's like that. Oh, and we come back anyway. Oh, look at that. Wait a minute. Rope or acid? The rope comes handy here. Okay, so we have to play through this anyway like that. Oh my god. Alright. What do you think? Yeah, me too.
You step slowly over and between the poles, taking care not to touch any of them. This will be a test of your skill, like the luck test. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current skill score, you have been skillful.
You have been skillful.
But if the roll is higher than your skill score, then you aren't skillful enough. You step slowly over and between the poles, taking care not to touch any of them. After resting for a while, you set off east again. The tunnel ends at a junction. The footprints you have been following turn north, and you decide to stay with them. You soon come to another junction in the tunnel. One branch leads east, but the wet footprints you have been following continue north, and you decide to follow their trail. The passage opens out.
Okay, so if you go left, you can't go back here and get the rope. Oh god, I forgot now. What was up here? I forgot now. Alright, well, whatever. We'll see if we can
into a wide
go through
cabin
this.
which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cabin that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand
I'll
two
fast
giant
forward
stuffed,
through this.
bird-like creatures.
Walk through the cave. Okay, so we definitely need the eyes. We're gonna do that. Take the jewels.
The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb. Some rope would have been ideal for this task, but alas, you don't have any. So slowly and carefully, you begin to climb the idol. You're about to grab hold of its large ear when suddenly your foot slips. We'll need to check how lucky you are. We'll roll 2 dice.
Yeah, I know.
And if
Don't explain, just roll.
you just manage to grab the idol's earlobe,
Okay, fine. And then it was the left eye.
as you touch,
So the guardians.
Coming at you.
We're doing the birds.
Guardians. The beating.
I know we've been.
the
we've played
crumpled
this so
form
much.
of the first foot.
Ooh, I got hit.
Clawing.
Ooh, got hit again.
Guardian snaps at you with his vicious beak.
Ooh. Let's eat provisions anyway.
You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
And just do it anyway.
You're able to grab the wing of the guardian.
Your final swipe dispatches the second. You look down and see the...
Price is right. Climb down the idol.
You lower yourself not much farther down the tunnel. You come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Oh yeah, we open the door.
You enter a room which is small.
Okay, shout Succumvid is a worm.
You take a deep breath and shout, "Succumvit is a worm!"
That gives us the...
The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Oh, I can't... Oh, geez, look at that. I was supposed to get the ring, but I didn't get the ring. It didn't give me the... Oh, no. Sorry, no, that was the bone ring. This is the wish ring. That's right, this is the wish ring. That's right, that's what we got. So we walk through the light. This is what I missed.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing, but have changed their expressions to one of despair and anguish. A young girl's sad face hovers in front of you, and she begins to whisper a poem. Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win."
Oh, so we
Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light and quickly head on north.
Okay.
You come to an arched doorway.
What was it? We go in there. Try the door.
Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large
Okay, yeah. This is it. Reach for the dagger.
Taking a deep breath, as you make your way back to the door, the giant fly swoops down again to try to capture you, but this time you manage to evade its outstretched legs.
Okay, fight the fly.
The creature flies at you so close you can't. You spin your sword around your head.
I have to eat more provisions.
Flying just out of reach, the fly sprays its acidic saliva into your face. It burns your eyes and you scramble to wipe it off.
Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime. The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance.
Okay, so from here, we're going to eat and eat. There we go. I think that's okay for now. So here, we can't go east, we go west.
Ahead, you hear the sound of rocks
not
being
west.
ground and crushed.
Crap, no, we go back. I meant east. Yeah, we head east.
You walk down the passage and soon find yourself standing at the edge of a deep, dark pit. The passage continues east on the other side of the pit. You think you could probably jump over the pit, but you're not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
I remember we went after that and we found something at the bottom of the pit. So, okay, we're going to do this.
Gripping the rope firmly, you step back to take a running jump. However, in the dim light, you do not notice that someone has cut the rope almost in two, just a little way above the section you are holding. As you swing out across the pit, it suddenly breaks, and you scream with fear as you plunge headlong to the depths below. You land heavily on your back, but luckily your backpack cushions your fall, only costing you 1 skill point and 2 stamina points.
Damn.
It could have been much worse.
Yeah.
The darkness is almost pitch black at the bottom of the pit, and you crawl along the floor, groping in front of you. Suddenly your hand touches something cold, hard and smooth. The object is small and round, but you cannot figure out what it is. You place it in your backpack, hoping to see what it is once you are out of the pit. You continue to crawl forward and soon reach the pit wall. It's too smooth to climb, and you have to cut hand and toe holes in it with your sword. This takes a long time, but finally you climb out of the pit on the east side. You immediately check out the object in your backpack and discover that you have found an orb of blood-red ruby. You are absolutely delighted and head off east in high spirits, whistling softly. The tunnel makes a sudden left turn and continues north as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall.
That's right. Well, it says we went in there. Let me eat something first. Eat that. Let me grab skill potion, just because.
The door opens into a large candlelit room filled with incredibly lifelike statues of knights and warriors.
Oh, this thing.
A white-haired old man dressed in tattered rags jumps out from behind one of the statues and starts to giggle. Though he looks like a fool, the sparkle in his eyes makes you think there is more to him. In a high-pitched voice, he says, "Oh, good! Another stone for my garden. I'm glad you have come to join your friends. Now, I'm a fair man, so I'll ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I'll let you go free. But if your answer is wrong, I'll turn you to stone." He starts to chuckle again, obviously pleased with your arrival.
I just want to hear this again. Wait for his question.
The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately. It is the knight who started the trial of champions. The agonized look on his face locked in stone for eternity. The old man smiles, saying,
"This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. How much does he weigh?"
"What will you answer?"
Yeah, see, it still doesn't make any sense.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says,
"Well done, stranger. You have answered correctly. I wish you good fortune during the rest of the trial of champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers."
He then mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1. You bid the old man farewell and leave his room to continue north along the passage. Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel.
I don't remember this.
Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Okay.
The door opens into a large room. Looking around, you see an alcove in the west wall. In the middle of the room, sitting in the chair, is the skeleton of an armed warrior.
Oh, yeah, that's this thing.
Possibly a contestant from years gone by. The skeletal fingers of its right hand grip a crumpled parchment.
That's right, the paper has a clue. Let's go to the alcove first.
At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend. The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right. Only a few meters further down the passage, you see the door opens into a large. Touching the parchment has precisely the effect you had feared. The skeleton lurches forward and, rising from its chair in a series of jerky movements, raises its sword to strike you. Lunging sideways, you draw your sword to defend yourself.
You run around the jerking skeleton, smashing your sword into its arm. The skeleton is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its leg. You raise your sword to parry the skeleton's attack, but it knocks your sword aside and lands a painful blow.
Once again, you reach for the parchment, only this time lying amidst a pile of broken bones. Unfolding it, you see a map of a room with a drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads, "Should you meet the manticore, of its tail beware. Shield yourself against the spikes flying through the air." You fold up the piece of parchment and put it in your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend. The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right. The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trap door. You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trap door is not locked. You throw the trap door open and
You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn, but the creature whips around, parrying your blow. Neither of you are harmed. Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. You both swing for each other, and in the confusion, both miss. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall. There are 2 closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall. The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
I still want to know what the spikes and mallet are for.
The door opens into another tunnel. Walking west, you soon arrive at another door in the north wall. The door opens into a small room in which there is a human skull with jewels. You take aim and hurl the wooden ball. The wooden ball smashes into the skull. A tickling sensation runs down your spine. The tunnel takes a sharp turn and you find yourself in a sort of gallery lined with mirrors for some 20 meters. A human skeleton appears to be pulled halfway through the mirror along the right-hand wall. Suddenly, a grotesque being with 4 arms and 4 screaming faces emerges from the mirror, barring your way ahead. It walks slowly towards you, each arm outstretched to grab you. It is a mirror demon from another dimensional plane, come to take your spirit.
You think I should make the wish?
You rub your magic ring and wish for the mirror demon to be transported back to its own world, never to return. Still advancing towards you, it starts to shimmer and fade away, vanishing completely just before it reaches you. Your quest continues north. In front of you are 2 flights of stone steps separated by a banister of rat skulls. Treading carefully, you slowly make your way up the steps. You soon reach the top without mishap and continue along the new tunnel, which takes the sharp turn right. After 100 meters in the tunnel, you come to a junction. Looking left, you see the dead bodies of 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing apart from a necklace of teeth hanging around the neck of one of the orcs. The necklace. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish. The eastern tunnel soon comes to a dead end. A piece of paper, brown and cold with age, is pinned to the end wall. The paper bears a simple warning, written in dried blood. Beware the trial masters. You replace the paper on its nail and run back down the tunnel to rejoin the barbarian. Running down the tunnel, you soon catch up with the barbarian and tell him that the eastern passage comes to a dead end. He nods his head in silent understanding and sets off towards the west with you at his side. Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use. You tie the rope around your waist and take hold of the lighted torch given to you by Throm, as your barbarian ally calls himself. Taking hold of the slack rope, Throm lowers you slowly over the edge of the pit and down into the dark depths below. You can see by the light of the torch that the sides of the pit are extremely smooth. You drop about 20 meters before hitting the bottom of the pit. There, you see another tunnel heading north, and you call up to Throm and tell him of your discovery. He calls back, saying that he is going to tie the rope around a protruding rock on the edge of the pit and will come down and join you. You hear him climbing down, and soon you are together again. Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off north along the new tunnel. On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see 2 dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry on. As you open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate, the pages turning to dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the Blood Beast's only weak spot, the real eyes. Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going. The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away. You drop to the ground. You hurl yourself at your enemy.
You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. As soon as you put the ring on your finger, your whole body starts to shake. Your body continues to vibrate intensely, and you feel as if you're about to pass out. But your strength is great, and you manage to withstand the tremendous shock to your system. The tunnel leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang. The tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in You tell Throm that there is no point in killing the dwarf, as you will never find your way out of the chamber alone. You argue that an opportunity of tricking the dwarf might arise later, once you have found the exit from the chamber. So you intend to go through with the dwarf's test. You tell the dwarf that you are ready, and he beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to wait for his return. a secret door opens in the chamber wall, and you follow the dwarf into a small circular room. He closes the door behind you and hands you 2 bone dice, telling you to throw them onto the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll them again, but this time you must predict whether the total will be the same, less, or more than the 8. The dwarf congratulates you for guessing correctly. He tells you that you must now progress to the second stage of the test. He reaches for a wicker basket and tells you that a snake is held within it. He tips the basket over, and the snake drops onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air, ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. Barehanded, you must grasp the cobra below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs. You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill. With lightning speed, you thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up, and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me.
You do what he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin Moat." In his ever-calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters? You call out to the dwarf, telling him to send in the scorpion, because you are ready to fight. Slowly, the wooden door rises, and a huge, grotesque black scorpion squeezes underneath it and enters the room. You draw your sword in readiness and prepare to fight the sinister creature with its huge pincers and deadly sting. The scorpion will attack you with both pincers, and you must treat each pincer as a separate creature, as though you were fighting 2 creatures. Each pincer has its own skill level and will attack you separately in each attack round. You can only fight 1 pincer in each attack round, attacking it as in a normal battle. But against the other pincer, you must still attack in the normal way. But you will not wound it, even if your attack strength is greater. You must count this as though you have just fended off its blow. Of course, if its attack strength is greater than yours, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid their sharp points. The scorpion swings its tail at you, but you are fast enough to roll out of the way. Your speed is improving. You run directly at the scorpion and slice at its pincer as you run by. The scorpion charges at you with its pincers snapping. You're able to jump quickly enough to avoid the sharp points. The scorpion takes a run at you. Its speed is impressive, but you jump aside, landing a heavy blow on its back. The scorpion swings its huge venomous tail above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor, and you land an attack from the side. The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach.
The dwarf calls down from the balcony, congratulating you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena and tells you to relax and regain your strength for the final part of the test. Then he walks off, saying he will return in about 10 minutes. You open the sack and find a jug of wine and a cooked chicken.
So, which one's that one? That's the wigwam. Yeah. No. So I was thinking, I should have kept the wish ring for this part. I think I should have kept the wish ring for this part.
The food and drink are excellent and you feel much better, gaining 2 more stamina points. Fully satisfied, you sit down and await the dwarf's return. After about 20 minutes, the dwarf reappears on the balcony. He calls down to you, saying,
Well, I do have an interesting problem on my hands. Prepare to fight your next opponent.
The wooden door rises once again, and you are surprised to see a familiar face. It is Throm. He is cut and badly bruised and doesn't seem to recognize you. He is clearly delirious as he staggers forward with his axe raised to attack you. The dwarf laughs and says,
The cobra bit him, but he has the strength of an ox and managed to carry on, even though most men would have died. Now you must fight him to decide finally which of you will continue the trial of champions.
You shout abuse at the dwarf, protesting the cruelty of such a contest. He merely laughs, and you have no option but to defend yourself against poor Throm. Despite his wounds, he is immensely strong.
Yeah, the mirror demon you can get past with getting 1 hit. You have to be hit once.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away Throm's legs. You hate it as he howls as his head hits the hard ground.
I have to play through this again.
Throm is tall, and you duck, grab him, and ram his head hard into the wall. You hurl yourself at Throm, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow on his chin.
Exhausted by your long duel, you fall to your knees as you stare at Throm's still body. A bitter loathing for the dwarf fills your heart. Somehow, you will avenge Throm. Engulfed in your hatred, you do not notice the dwarf enter the arena until he is standing right in front of you, a loaded crossbow aimed at your chest.
I know what you are thinking,
he says calmly.
but remember that only I know the way out of here. Get up. It's time for you to leave.
Once on your feet, the dwarf indicates that you should walk ahead of him. Back in the chamber, He crosses over to the northern wall and pushes against one of its stones. A door-like section of the wall swings out, opening into another crystal-lit tunnel. With his crossbow still aimed at your chest, the dwarf smiles, saying,
Good luck.
The tunnel soon divides into two. You hear a buzzing sound coming from the western branch. The tunnel leads into a dark chamber, covered in thick cobwebs. Clawing your way through them, you trip over a wooden casket. The casket opens easily, and inside there is a black velvet bag containing a large pearl, gaining you 1 luck point. After putting the pearl in your pocket, you press on through the cobwebs. You reach the far wall of the chamber and see 2 doors.
All right, we need to choose. What is that recipe?
The door opens into another tunnel running north. Ahead you see 2 stone fountains, one on either side of the tunnel, carved in the shape of cherubs. Water spouts from their mouths and cascades into small bowls at their feet.
Do we risk it?
The cool water is refreshing, but it comes from a source which has been cursed by a hag, adding 1 stamina point, but costing you 2 luck points. The cool water is refreshing and comes from a source which has been sprinkled with pixie dust, gaining you 1 stamina point and 2 skill points. You continue north. Leaning against the left-hand wall of the tunnel, you see a pair of bamboo stilts. They are securely chained, and you see a label attached to a padlock which reads, "The price of these stilts is 1 gold piece. Place the coin in the slot to release the lock." There is a slot in the padlock into which you place the coin. Immediately the lock clicks apart, and you are able to unchain the stilts. You place them on your shoulder and once again set off north. A little farther on, you come to a section of the tunnel which is covered with thick green slime. It looks threatening, so you decide to test it first with a piece of cloth. The slime's corrosive jelly burns the cloth instantly, leaving no trace. You climb onto your stilts and take a few tentative steps across the floor. Your confidence grows.
and you soon feel able to tackle the walk across the slime. Smoke rises from the base of the stilts as the slime starts to burn them away. You plod stolidly on and finally reach firm ground again. Unfortunately, the stilts are still covered in slime, and you are forced to dump them. Setting off north, you come to a junction.
You soon arrive at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle, it turns, and you open the left door slightly and peer through the crack. An armed warrior is lying face down on the floor of a bare room with smooth walls and a low ceiling. He is presumably dead, for he makes no movement, even when you call out to him. A large jewel, perhaps a diamond, lies just beyond his outstretched arm.
You finally reach the warrior's body, but as soon as you touch the jewel, both it and the warrior vanish into thin air. You hear the door slam behind you, followed by a sudden, ominous rumbling above you. You look up and see the ceiling start to lower. You run to the door to try to escape, but it is locked and there is no handle on the inside. The ceiling gradually drops until you are forced to lie on the ground, trying to halt the ceiling's progress with your hands and feet. But it is a hopeless task, and you are crushed to death in the stone vise. If only you'd found a potion that allowed you to detect traps like this.
We did. We had that before.
You finally reach the warrior.
You soon arrive at a double door in the left.
The tunnel continues north for quite a distance before coming to a dead end. The mouth of a chute protrudes from the western wall, and it appears to be the only alternative to turning back. You decide to risk it and climb into the chute. You slide gently down and emerge into a room, landing on your back. As soon as you stand up, you are confronted by the most repulsive sight you have ever laid eyes on. There in front of you, wallowing in a circular pool of fetid slime.
Okay, cool.
Is a bulbous creature too horrible to be believed. Its body is green and covered all over with fearsome-looking spikes. Its face is a mass of crimson blisters, one of which suddenly bursts to reveal yet another of its many sinister, all-seeing eyes. A narrow path runs around the edge of the pool and leads into another tunnel in the far wall. Remembering the description of the vile blood beast and the warning about the toxic gas rising from its pool, you cover your mouth with your sleeve and step forward with your sword drawn, wary of the blood beast's tongue. As you step around the side of the pool, it rolls forward and flicks out its tongue. But you are ready for it and cleave it with one swipe of your sword. The beast howls in pain and stretches forward frantically, trying to clasp you between its blood-filled jaws. You start hacking at its hideous face in an attempt to pierce its real eyes.
The creature turns and whips its tail at you. The fierce spike at the end misses you by millimeters. You jump forward and strike a clean blow into its rear. Again, the bulbous creature strikes for you with its hideous fangs. You jump clear of them, striking out and smashing one clean out of its hideous mouth.
Your blade strikes one of the blood beast's real eyes with devastating effect. It slumps back into its pool, thrashing about in a frenzy. You seize the opportunity and run around the side of the pool to the tunnel exit. The tunnel leads into a large room, its ceiling supported by several marble pillars. As you enter the room, you see a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion with dragon-like wings attached to it, but its head is like that of an old bearded man. You recognize the beast. It is a manticore. Taking heed of the warning poem you took from the skeleton warrior, you watch out for its tail, which sprouts a profusion of sharp spikes at its tip, thick and hard as iron bolts. You raise your shield in front of you just in time to protect yourself from a volley of spikes released from the manticore's tail and aim straight at your heart. They sink into your shield, and you remain unharmed. Swiftly, you draw your sword and advance on the manticore.
The giant creature whips its spiked tail at you, firing more spikes. You duck and roll, quickly slicing a chunk from its tail, passing close to you. You seize an opportunity to attack the creature's back leg and manage to bury your sword deep into its thigh. You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn. It tries to move, but you land a powerful blow.
As you are wiping the manticore's blood from your sword, you are surprised to see a small man jump out from behind one of the marble pillars. He is dressed in a tight-fitting green tunic and looks quite harmless, although you are wary of the way he is holding an opaque glass ball with a shimmering green light. "Greetings," he says cheerfully. "My name is Igbot, the gnome, and I am the trial master for your final test. Needless to say, my magical powers are great, so you should not try to attack me. You may have learnt, during your quest, that gems play an essential part in the trial of champions. The iron door in front of you is the victory exit, but there is only one way of opening it. 3 gems have to be put into the lock mechanism in the correct order. Each gem radiates a unique energy, which will trigger the mechanism. If you do it correctly, that is. But first, we need the correct gems. First, you will need an emerald." The gnome smiles and says, "You truly are a great adventurer. Now, you will also need a sapphire." The gnome shakes his head and says, "I'm afraid that you have failed the trial of champions. Baron Succumvit's Deathtrap Dungeon will keep its secrets for another year, as you will not be allowed to leave here. You are appointed my servant for the rest of your days to prepare and modify the dungeon for future contestants. Perhaps, in another life, you will succeed."
Oh, that sucks. Alright, I'm going to end it here. And we'll try another run sometime. Wow. Wow. Alright, let's see here. Anyone else we can... No. Yeah, we'll try another run sometime this week. I'm going to end it here. Thanks a lot, guys.